did so much for someone like who did not give like, oh,
don't cry. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I've been away from YouTube for a while because a lot of things have happened, and I've told you guys on my Instagram stories that I was gonna tell you guys the tea. So here is the tea. It's been crazy, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear everything that has been happening to us. If you don't know who this is my sister. She's younger than me.
Yeah, but you guys obviously be into stories, so.
Yeah, her name is
Mimi,
also known as Naomi. We are ready to talk about what has been happening, and that has had her stress, and obviously me and my whole family, because it's something that's very severe, I would call it.
I think what we should do is tell them like what he did, and then like start from the beginning and summarize it till the end, like in order. You know,
so basically we got scammed $10,000
by my ex-boyfriend. So
yes,
sadly,
it all started because this girl met a guy on Instagram.
That was the number one thing I was not supposed to do, and I've always told myself that, to not pay attention to anyone in social media if I don't like know them in person. But this guy knew how to get his way around. Obviously he ended up being my boyfriend. So
yeah. So to start off, this girl ended a really bad relationship. She comes from a really bad relationship already, and then she had her guard way up, not wanting to date because she was hurt or whatever, and then this happened. So just keep that in mind of how crazy things happen. And it's that you might be like, how are you guys gonna get scammed with so much money? Trust me that
some people are just great liars.
He was good at
Amazing.
And it seemed like he's done this before to other people. Like, he was very good at it. He had everything planned. We're not gonna mention names just because we can't right now, but trust me that we are gonna expose his face and everything once we are able to, because obviously this is gonna go to legal action. But anyways, I don't want to skip to the end. Let's start from the beginning. She started talking to him on Instagram, and they talked for how long?
We talked for a while. So he had been in my messages for like almost a year, and I wouldn't pay attention to him because, like I mentioned, I didn't want anything to do with any guy in social media if I like didn't know them. And another red flag that I should have paid attention to is that he didn't really have pictures of himself. Like, he didn't have much on his social media because he was a very, very private person. I didn't think anything could get worse than my past relationship. So that's why it was so hard for me to just like get in another relationship again and trust again. So it took me a while to be with someone again, and then I was with someone again, and then this happens to me. So it's just my luck, I guess. We started dating after talking for a while, and like within the month and a half, that's when he started saying that.
A month and a half? Not quick?
He told me that he had lung cancer.
He took her to a view to tell her some news that he just found out, telling her with a sad face and concern that he had lung.
Like, he planned the scene very, very well, because I would never in my life think that someone would lie about having cancer, because that's actually something very serious that a lot of people die from.
Yeah.
So I never in my life thought that somebody would joke about that. And then he told me, you know what, if you don't want to be with me, that's fine, I understand. But by that time I was already kind of getting attached to him, and I was not about to leave him. Like, if he told me that he had cancer, you know, like,
just keep this in your head that all this time we believed it, because he was a new person, he was nice, like you could not tell that he was lying. He was really nice and very like friendly or whatever. So we're like, oh my god, pobrecito. We all feel bad. We all feel like she came to our house one day crying to tell us what he told us, and we're like, oh my god, damn. Like, it's crazy how you can't just walk away, but then you can't really take full responsibility for someone that's going through something that you just met, right? But for me, it was like that. For her, it was no, like, I can't leave him.
Basically, we were just like living through it. It wasn't that big. He told me that they had just caught it, and it wasn't like that. It hadn't spread that much yet. Thank God I have never had a family member that has had cancer, so I don't know how things work. I don't know how everything is, you know? So I was just like, oh my god, like, this is new to me, you know? I don't know how things are supposed to be. So obviously with everything he was telling me, like, I was believing it, because again, one, I didn't think he would lie about cancer, and two, like, I didn't know how it was dealing with someone or being with someone that had cancer. He started asking me for money, but he didn't start asking for money right away. A few weeks passed, everything, and then he would tell me that he would be in pain. Like, whenever he would sleep over, like those times after like a couple weeks and months started passing, he started telling me that he was in pain. Like, he would wake up in the middle of the night, and he would even make him seem like he was crying. Like, how am I not supposed to believe something like that, you know? And it's very sad that someone actually lies about that.
He would make you like feel bad, like saying
Feel bad for him. Yeah, like,
oh, I
have so much stress, and the reason why like I felt like I needed to help him, but it was because he had 2 businesses supposedly. He basically, I dated someone that I never really knew, because he made up this whole life that he did not have, and he also lied about cancer. So he made up this whole life saying that he lived on his own and that he had 2 businesses, which at first was kind of hard for me to believe. But he would show me like pictures and like of like his shop, or like that he lived on his own.
And just because this girl was trying not to be a toxica, she didn't want to really look into it or like find out, or like, does he really have a job? She truly believed everything, and she never doubted him. So he started off, that's something we forgot to mention at the beginning. He mentioned he had a mechanic shop and a barber shop, and then he had this big ass truck that when he got sick, he sold it for how much? $100,000? $100,000. He told us that because he made so much money, he didn't qualify for any insurance.
Yeah.
So for me, that kind of didn't click, but I'm like, okay, if he's asking for it, he must need it, right? Like, who am I to say no, you don't need it? Like, why don't you do this or that? But then I'm like, wait, he's running 2 businesses. Why does he need more money? And if he sold his truck for $100,000, which is insane, and they paid him cash, right?
And it's crazy because, again, I would believe this stuff because he would post this on social media. He would post the shop, he would post the truck. Like, how am I not supposed to believe this?
I don't know how much money she would lend him. And let me tell you that after he appeared in her life and he started with the story that he had cancer, this girl changed a lot. Like, she wouldn't want to go out because she felt bad having fun and him being sick at home. She became very broke. So I started to notice that until I would like tell her comments like, hey, like, why are you so broke after you met this guy? And obviously she was in love with him. She wanted to defend him.
I was in love with him, and I also like, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm trying to help him out, even if that means that I stay with nothing, as long as I'm like getting my bills paid. And then even if I don't have money left to spend on me, like, I'd rather give it to him to help him out. Why? Because he was my boyfriend, and because, again, why would I think that he would be lying about that? You know, like, I was just, to me, it was just, I'm being a nice person, I'm not helping someone out, and then God is gonna give me more for helping someone out, you know?
Yeah,
like,
so this was in our mind this whole time. He's sick, we have to help him, like, if we can. And that was mostly in her head, like, it's my boyfriend, I have to help him if I can. So she started to change. She was like, you know, just worried about him.
Once I found out he had cancer, and then he started saying he was in pain, and he started being stressed because he needed the money, and like, that's when I started being stressed too. Like, every day I would be stressed because of him. Like, every single day. She would always be stressed. Obviously, I would cry because I cared for him, and I was like, why is he going through this? And so many things happened, like, to him, and I'm like, why are so many things happening at the same time? Because he would come up with a bunch of stories. This happened, or I can't pay this.
He apparently asked to borrow money from one of my other sisters, which she's here, but she doesn't want to come out. But she's younger than me, and she asked her for money. And then he asked me for money. I didn't know that he had already owed her and her. If I knew, I wouldn't have done it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna let him borrow it. He sounded so for sure. No, I'm gonna pay you for sure this day. We made a contract, and he's like, yeah, no worries, I got you. I'm gonna pay you. I just really need it and I appreciate it, blah, blah. So, okay. The due date came. He never paid me. He never paid my sisters. He never.
But the thing is that he wouldn't give her updates as well. Like, he would be like, I'll pay you. It came, and then obviously because she thought he was going through something, she wouldn't ask for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask.
She would be like, you know what? If he needs more time, it's okay. Just let me know. Just let him know to communicate with me, to tell me, so I can know, you know, like, so he just won't go ghost mode and not pay me anything.
Then when he started not paying, and then I heard that he asked for money from her, I'm like, wait, how is he supposed to pay all these people back? He started saying that he had to go through a surgery. He apparently had how many surgeries?
2. In
a 5-month range, he had 2 surgeries.
We let him borrow money because he would say he would need medication, pain medication, oxygen machines. He would need, like, obviously to pay for his businesses that he couldn't pay for, his surgeries,
and then it was a lot. And then all this was being paid out of pocket, according to him. He went through another surgery, which was the most like recent one before we found out. And then we had agreed on, oh, we're all gonna go visit him to the hospital. I'm like, okay, you know, because I started doubting myself without telling her. And I'm like, you know what? I think it's real, because like he's adding us to the list to go visit him. I'm like, I think.
Yeah, and what obviously got me more upset is that he could have just lied to me and tell me all these things, but he would make it so believable, not just to me, but to my whole family.
Yeah.
He would be like, hey guys, like, I have surgery on this day. Like, I put you guys down so you guys can go visit me. Like, making it seem so real. And what's crazy is that literally the day of his of his surgeries, both of the days, he would like be like, hey, like I gave my sister your number so she can text you, or I gave my mom your number, he gave me their numbers too, which apparently were not even their numbers. I don't know whose numbers they were. Apparently the sister would text back, but it wasn't even her. But after the surgeries, he would be like, I would wait, and then he would text me. He's like, oh, I'm out of the surgery, like I feel really drugged, like God,
crazy stuff that
I cannot.
When we were about to go that day to visit him at the hospital after his second surgery, he called her saying that he had COVID. And
right when we were gonna go, and he even there, I was like, hey, once I get out of work, he was already out of surgery. Según, I told him, once I get out of work, I'm gonna go like right away with Susie and Josh, like we're gonna go visit you. He's like, all right, here, like I'll send you the address. He even sent me an, oh my god, dude, he even sent me an address. He's like, yeah, just let me know when you're here, please. And he was like, please come, like I need you to bring me this and that, like that. He was like, please, like, I want you to come visit me. And then right when I got off of work and we were about to go, minutes before he called me. He's like, hey, like they just tested me for COVID and I have COVID.
Usually they test you before the surgery to have like for COVID, just so they know before surgery, and not after. So for me, I'm like, what the heck? That
and you know what's crazy? That he said that según he got it from someone else that he was sharing a room with, and that like he had COVID, so we couldn't go visit him anymore. And we were already ready to go, like
literally almost on our way. He's lying about COVID that people die from, like that's just, he's not right in the head.
Obviously, I was very sad. I was crying because he just got surgery and I wanted to go see my boyfriend. Obviously I couldn't go see him, and then he was like, oh, I think they're going to let me go because they don't have enough rooms. It didn't make sense because I was like, okay, you have lung cancer, you just got surgery, you have COVID, why would they let you go?
Later on that day, he calls me and then he's like, hey, can I borrow more money? He had already asked for $800, right, that he still owed me, and then he calls me again to ask for $1,200. At that time, I'm like, I don't know if I should, but he just got out of surgery. Like,
she started doubting or noticing things that didn't make sense, but obviously she's not gonna be like, oh, he's lying about cancer. Like,
yeah, that's never
we just couldn't, even thinking that he was possibly lying about something, they felt bad even thinking that way, because again, who in their right mind would fucking lie about having cancer?
Yeah. Like, so I'm like, you know what? Whatever, I'll do it. So that same day that he came out of the hospital, he came to my place to pick up the money. He even had blood. He had like a stain that I don't know why he put.
Dude,
he had a stain.
I just remember that.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, we're
God.
He came, we even put Lysol everywhere so we wouldn't get infected from the COVID.
Yeah, I had a mask on and everything. Like I always sprayed Lysol, everything. So I had masks, like gloves, everything.
So I'm like, dude, like, are you supposed to be driving? Why are you driving? He's like, oh yeah, I'm good, I feel good. Look, I just have a little bit of blood, but that's it. He had everything planned. Again, she didn't investigate further because she believed it. She never thought she would be lying.
And like I felt bad just questioning him about it. Like,
yeah. After that, obviously the due dates came. My sister needed her money. She didn't do contracts with no one else but me, because I don't know, I just felt like I had to do it. Once the due dates came, he would always say stories like, I got stabbed, the border patrol held me back,
they say I have a warrant,
he got in a fight, he went to jail. All these little lies that were like, what the heck? Why every time he has to pay, he comes up with something that happened? Also, he will never answer her phone calls because he was sleeping all day.
Yes, like, and he would be like, oh, it's because this medication that I'm taking knocks me out. Like, I wouldn't hear from him for hours, and I'll be like, hey, are you okay? And again, I was worried because he was sick. Even I remember when this one time, I don't know if I ever told you, I think I told you, where he went to work somewhere far in LA that he said that he did not, because he never worked in his life. That he went to LA que según que se había desmayado and he was at the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Que se había desmayado, he was at the hospital y que según he wasn't breathing for I don't know how many minutes.
So what would she do? Cry, stress, and then she wouldn't hear back, and then she's like, oh my god, what if something happened and I'm over here? This is when she started changing, because everything was just him, what's going on with him, how is he feeling?
I was just worried for him, basically. Yeah. I was stressed, worried, like I want to help him out. Yeah. He wouldn't show up, or he wouldn't I wouldn't hear from him. He would go ghost mode, and then I would be like, I'm understanding. I'm like, you know what? Like, he's like taking his medication, he's sleeping, like he's resting. Like, that was my and I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, and I wouldn't want to fight over it. So I wouldn't want to give him more stress, basically.
In total, I let him borrow $2,000. My younger sister let him borrow like $2,000. And then we weren't the only ones. My brother-in-law, he found a ways to take money from us. Like, My brother-in-law needed some parts for his car. He's like, oh yeah, I can get him for you.
And since he had a mechanic shop, obviously they would ask him stuff because like we believe that he did.
Yeah.
And again, we believed he knew, and he had a mechanic shop and everything, because at one point something happened to my car and he fixed it. So he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. My brother-in-law obviously trusted him, gave him the money. Okay, yeah, when are you gonna have the part ready?
Oh, he said, I'll order them for you and I'll do that for you. Like he was gonna do something to his truck.
Guess what? My brother-in-law asked for it.
He waited a while and he's like, okay, you know what, he's going through stuff, I'm not gonna tell him to do something when he's going through stuff. But he waited a long time. My ex-boyfriend never did anything. So that's when my cuñada was like, you know what, like, can he just give me the parts so somebody else can do it? Right when I started asking him to the parts, he's like, yeah, for sure, I'll give it to him. Yeah, I'll give it to him. And like time would pass and he wouldn't give it. Like he wouldn't.
He would,
like,
again,
I started getting stressed.
The worst thing is that she was a middle person. My brother-in-law would ask her, he would ask him, and he would never show up. He wouldn't answer. Also, there's like a lot of worse things here. He would literally say, oh, I'm on my way, I should be there at this time. Never showed up. After that, never responded to the phone calls. And then he had the audacity to be there at my mom's. He wouldn't bring anything. I'm like, dude, you know that we're looking for you, we're waiting for this, why don't you say something? And obviously us, to not stress him, whatever, we wouldn't mention it. We're like, you know what, I think he's gonna bring it up when he's ready, you know, but he just never did.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy. Like little things, like my sister threw him a birthday party at our place.
I did so much for this guy, dude. So much for this guy. Like literally, like the day of his birthday, I felt bad because he didn't have anything. And you know, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna try my best. I don't have much either, but like even my little sisters helped me throw a party, like everything.
Yeah, we try to make him feel special that day. So yeah, it's just a lot of little things in life that he would say. When he started saying about I got stabbed, I'm in jail, I started, ¿sabes qué? Like, there's no way all this is true. There's no way he has really that bad luck y todo le pasa. So Josh also let him borrow $200, which Josh got his money back because he got it back. Con él no, a él sí le pagó. I don't know how, but he paid him. Like Josh was always like, how much does she believe him? Like, because he started doubting before all of us, and he would tell me, but I didn't want to tell her because I don't want to stress her or whatever. So Josh looked up the businesses that he had, existed, but the owner was not him. We started to see other owners, and I'm like, he's lying. He would tell me, I'm like,
and the way he would talk to people, he would always talk about his businesses, everything. Like he made it seem so believable. It's crazy. Like he's such a good liar. Like he's done this before, you know.
Yeah. One day I said, you know what, I couldn't sleep anymore because I knew something was up. I'm like, you know what, I feel it, something's off, he's lying about something.
But that's when she really started doubting. I guess between my sisters, they would have this conversation that I had no idea about. About like, you know what, like this is off, like this doesn't make sense.
She's changing, like, she's not herself, she's always stressed, he's always never answering. He's, you know, we knew amongst us. So I'm like, you know what, I took advantage one day that she was there, she was all sad. I was like going through something with him, like we were arguing. So I'm like, you know what, I started venting, and so that's when everybody was there, and that's when we're like, you know what, this is what we think. They sat me down, they started questioning me. We don't want to think this way, and we don't want to think he's lying about cancer, but like they started mentioning a lot of points, and that's when I was like, oh my god. I asked her, have you ever seen his wound? Because we see him lifting stuff active after his surgery. So I'm like, have you ever seen his wound?
He's like, have you seen his wound? Have you ever got to the appointment with him? Have you ever
seen any
gone to the hospital, seen any paperwork? Have you ever like seen his actual truck that he had? And the crazy thing is that, like, have you ever been to his house? And it was only one time that he let me go in his house, and it was just the living room. Según, like, he lived on his own. That was another lie, that he lived on his own, and that his mom was just there visiting because his mom was around. So I had to like beg him, basically, if you lived alone and you have a girlfriend, you would not mind if she goes.
Yeah,
like it makes no sense.
So she started crying because I guess she kind of like put it together, and
like I started thinking about everything that they told me, like all the points. Like, think about it, like, you know, I felt bad because I'm like, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but it, like, that's true. Like, something's up. Like, he's lying about something, you know. And I didn't think it was gonna be cancer. They're like, since now on, you have to be more aware. Start asking him more questions.
Yeah, try and lift his shirt or something. I literally had dreams that I lifted his shirt to figure it out. Dije, lo tengo que descubrir. I have to find out. And I had dreams. I couldn't sleep before telling her because I'm like, I have to tell her. I have to tell her. He's gonna keep on taking money. She did a lot. She even told me, confess something that I didn't know until after we found out the truth. She had asked for loans for him. That pissed me off so much because I'm like, dude, now.
And the reason why is because he would literally stress. After a while, he'd be like, oh, like, he would make me feel bad for him. But then he'd be like, can you let me borrow this, please? I need it. Can you let me borrow this, please, please? Like, he started like begging, and it was too much. It came to a point where after every check that I would get, like when I would get paid, I wouldn't have money for myself at all. Like, I would be in negatives. Like, I wouldn't have money for myself. And I was just like, bro, I'm doing all this shit for some...
You know, don't cry with me. He does not deserve your tears. He does not deserve your tears. If you're watching this,
it just it got me mad because I did so much for someone like who did not give, like, oh,
don't cry. Jeez, you're gonna make me cry. He's gonna pay for it. He's gonna pay for it.
Triple what he
Yeah. So she did a lot for him, like too much, that if I knew, I would have said no, don't do it. She even told me, you know what, like if this ends up being not true, like, or whatever, I feel good because I knew that I helped, you know, with my heart. She wanted to help. So the reason why we say he owes us $10,000 is because what he owes her is over $6,000. Plus 2 of mine and 2 of her, that's like $10,000.
$6,000 is just, that's just like the loans itself, but it was way more like from my like checks when I would be at negatives. Like it was way more than that. I even lost count. Like I lost all my savings. Like I was supposed to get a car this year. I was supposed to get a car this year and I wasn't able to do it because like he literally left me broke.
No, we're not lying about this. If you guys think, there's a lot of people that make,
and part 2 we're gonna show the evidence.
Everything. Part 2 is gonna be how we found out, how we confronted him, everything that happened after, and what's going on. You guys are gonna see it all. We discovered way more things. We can't continue because the video is already super long, but we're gonna tell you guys what happened.
But this is just a video to like, don't fully trust anyone. Like, we're not saying this because we want attention. It's because literally we don't want this to keep happening to someone else, you know, and for you guys to be aware of who you're talking to. Like, it's better to not be with anyone in social media if you never met them, and you have to really be aware. Keep your guard up, question it. You're not being a toxica, you just want to be aware, you know, of things that are happening.
That's a lot of things that guys do. They want to call you toxica right away when you question them. If they start calling you a toxica or get defensive, you gotta let them go, because literally they're hiding stuff. El que nada debe, nada teme. Don't trust people right away.
Make sure, you know, like if he doesn't want to bring you around his family, that's something that he never did. I met his
red
mom
flags.
once. Like that's a red flag. Like if he doesn't want to like share a lot of stuff because he's very private, that's another red flag. If he's gone for hours and like he says like if he finds any bullshit excuse, that's another red flag. Just be careful because there's really people out there that can literally do this to you. I never thought it was gonna happen to me, but it did.
So we're gonna film part 2 right now and put it up later. Yeah, it's crazy, guys, so please stay aware and stay posted for part 2. You can follow me on Instagram, Fitsussie, and she's gonna put her Instagram here. If you're from San Diego, because we're in San Diego, share this video because this guy needs to be found, pay, and he has to stop. He has to pay somehow to not do it to no one else. We'll see you guys in the next video. Please go watch. Bye.